session. Um, and during the session, we're going to be doing some, there's going to be some kind of work time, or I don't know, play time, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, there'll be some time to kind of do some work, which is why I asked you to please have like a piece of paper and pen. So just make sure that you have. Okay, great. Alina, you ready? I hope everybody has, yeah, paper and pen, because that's going to be really important during this session. So today we're going to be, let me just mute everybody. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring this idea of making powerful requests. How many of you think that being able to make more powerful requests or invitations would be a valuable skill to have in your life? Anybody? Anybody feel that would be valuable? Okay, awesome. Yeah, to me, this is like one of the most, if not the most valuable skill to have, whether or not, you know, if you want to have a business, or you're trying to create a community, make an impact on people, you know, create an event or a project, but also just in a relationship, you know, being able to make powerful requests of a friend, of a spouse, of a child, you know, being able to make a request in a way that really empowers people, and also in a way that has us feeling like powerful in the process of making the request. So the first thing I want to just take a look at is, all right, what is, sorry, sorry, there's something on my screen, is what is a request, okay? So, and I'm not talking about like the dictionary definition of what a request is, but what is a request to you, to me, in my mind? When I think about making a request, what comes up for me in my mind? How many of you have ever felt maybe uncomfortable making a request? Have you ever felt uncomfortable to make a request? Maybe a little bit worried about making a request. I know that I've been there before. And you think about why do we feel uncomfortable sometimes, is because there's some, like we talked about in the very beginning, right? We always have some kind of focus, right? We're focusing on something. We're putting language, we're putting meaning to something, and we have a certain body posture, if you remember that from the very beginning, right? So depending on what we're focusing on, depending on the meaning that we're giving, making that request, and depending on our physical state when we're actually doing that, that's gonna determine how we actually feel when we're making a request. So I want to lay out kind of two ways that we can look at requests. So one is that it's a scary thing to do, like making this request, making this invitation. It's a scary thing to do. That it's a risk. I'm taking a risk of being rejected from this person. Like if I ask this person to do something, to join me in this event, you know, if I ask this person to, it could be just a request, like I want my spouse to talk to me in a certain way, you know, to ask me to do the dishes, you know, in a certain way. You know, it could be something like that. But there could be this fear, this risk of rejection. They might say no to this. They might say, you know, I don't want to do it that way, or whatever. And also sometimes we have this fear that if I do this, I'm going to be pushy. Like I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be a pushy person. Have you ever thought that, you know, or felt that, like, I don't want to be pushy? So that's one way to look at requests. And you can imagine that if we think about requests this way, you know, we're gonna feel scared. We're gonna feel, you know, anxious about it. We're gonna feel not super motivated to do it. And likelihood is we're not going to do it unless we really need to. And we probably procrastinate until the last moment. So probably not going to be making our most powerful requests when we're in this kind of mindset or having this kind of focus. So I want to give just another possibility for what a request could be. So a request could be simply opening a door to a new possibility. Okay. or a new possible way of being in life. Okay, so think about it this way, right? When you are asking somebody, hey, would you like to come to this info session? All you're doing is you're opening a door to something new that could be possible for that person's life. Like that wasn't possible for them before you made that request. They had no idea that this info session existed. They had no idea that this coaching opportunity existed. Whatever it might be, they had no idea that the divine principle existed. Whatever you want to request, but they have no idea that this opportunity actually exists until you make that request, and you're just opening a door, and it's always their choice. They can take the step forward, right? A lot of times we get so attached to, I want them to say yes, and if they don't say yes, then there's something wrong. But actually, it's kind of like we're taking responsibility away from somebody else. Like that's not actually where our responsibility lies in that relationship. Our responsibility just lies in opening the door for people. I think it says something in the Bible, right, about opening doors. I don't want to quote it because I'll mess it up, but something about we just have to open the door, and if they step through and they take the opportunity, that's up to them. And the second thing is saying a new possible way of being in life. Okay, so we all have a way of being in life. We might be hesitant in life. We might be kind of apathetic in life. We might be kind of like so-so, man. My life is okay. It's not great, but it's not bad enough that I'm willing to do anything. That's kind of a way of being, of like I don't know, like passionless, or resignation. Some people are just resigned, like they just feel that this is how life is, and it's not going to really change from here. There's not really anything I can do to further my situation in life. But when we make a request, we're giving them a new possible way of being in life, because we're giving them an opportunity to be courageous, to be optimistic, to be hopeful, to see something, and to be a risk taker. To say, hey, here's this opportunity that you can have to change your life, to make a difference in what's important to you, to make your family situation better, to make your financial situation better, and it's going to take something from that person to make that step, right? They need to be courageous. They need to have some intentionality. They need to have some sense that my life is worth something. They need to have some love for their own life, love for the people in their life. So when we make that request, we're giving this opportunity for them to step up into that new way of being for themselves in their life. And for some people, they're so stuck in one way of being, so stuck in some kind of resignation, some kind of hopelessness, some kind of, there's just stuckness in life, that it's not until somebody comes along and gives this opportunity, saying, hey, here's the pathway. You gotta have the courage to walk through, but here's the opportunity, you can take it. And that can change somebody's life. And I know that from my own experience of somebody, asking me, would you like to attend this seminar? Would you like to try this out? Would you like to try coaching out with me? I think all of us here have experienced, just how a simple request, would you like to try this out? Would you like to, hear about what I'm doing? That one simple request could make such a huge difference for you guys, for me, for a lot of people. So with this kind of focus, with this kind of meaning, and of course, if you get your body into it as well, then you're going to have even more energy. It's going to make your request so much more powerful, and you're going to feel so much better about requesting, because it's not going to be like you're pushing something on somebody, or you're, fearing rejection, but it's just like you're opening door, you're giving a gift to somebody, as if, this is just a blessing that you want to share. So one thing I want you guys to think about, actually, is what possibility are you inviting people to? So specifically this time, you can do this for anything that you want in your life, but this time I specifically want to take this time to think about this upcoming, info session, this coaching. It could be coaching with you if you want, but think about what possibility are you inviting them to? The possibility, for example, of being happy in life, the possibility of growth in life, the possibility of contributing and making an impact in other people's life. Just what is a possibility that excites you, that you would be excited to invite somebody else to? Okay, so just take a few moments and just reflect on this. Reflect on this point. What's the possibility that I'm inviting someone to? Could be a possibility of a way of being. I'm inviting them to a possibility of being courageous, being loving to themselves. And this is an opportunity for them to be, be a more powerful person, a more confident person. Something for them to do. I mean, the do is could be quite simple. It could be just to invite them to come to this info session. What's the possibility of what they can have in their life? They can have a beautiful family. They can have the career of their dreams. They can have more money. So yeah, take some time to write down. If you have any questions, feel free to ask a question as well about this. And if anybody finishes, if you could just maybe raise your hand and just let me know that you're done.
A question. It doesn't have to be only coaching, right?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay. Any area, okay.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, just take 30 more seconds to finish up. Okay, so so I want to just, I'm doing these exercises with you guys as well. So I'll share a little bit about what I came up with. I'm really seeing the possibility that I'm inviting people to is the possibility of growth, finding their true selves. The possibility of experiencing God's amazing blessings, being courageous, standing up for their life that they truly deserve. And the last one is just the possibility of being surprised about who they can be. Because I really felt that was what I was able to get through these 10 weeks was just like at the end of it, just being so surprised, like, wow, I can't believe I could be this kind of person, and that's the possibility I want to invite people to. So I want to ask just one other person, if you could just share what possibility would you be excited to invite someone into? Anybody be willing to share? The more you share it, if you speak it out, it's gonna just add more excitement to you, and it's also gonna add more excitement to everybody else. So it'll be a contribution. Nancy?
Relationships improved.
Mm.
with people,
Yeah.
and the fear diminished,
Fear
and
diminished. Mm.
yeah, and more in control of life and time,
Mm. Yeah.
and
More
more
control.
happy and appreciative.
Mm. Awesome. Would that be an exciting possibility for you to invite people to?
I think so.
Yeah. I'd like to have some of that. Very cool. Okay, so we're gonna move on. So the next thing I want to talk about is this is a quote from a guy named Simon Sinek. He's kind of like a consultant. He has a really nice TED Talk if you want to check him out. He says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Okay, so people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. In other words, people don't care as much about what you do, but they care about why you do it, right? So why are you doing something rather than what you're doing? So I want to just give an example of two invitations, okay, two possible invitations. Right? The first one goes like this. Hello, I want to invite you to this coaching info session where you can learn about what coaching is and receive some coaching for yourself. There will be a coach there, and he will provide some coaching for all of us to help us move forward on a goal. You may even have a breakthrough in that session. It will be at 9 p.m. Tuesday. Can you come? So that's one. Right. Next one. Hello. Recently, I've just had the most wonderful experience with coaching. It's given me such hope for the future. And through the coaching, I realized that I really want to make our community a community where people are happy, inspired, and totally in love with their life and the people in their life. And I felt like this would be something you'd also be into. And I'd appreciate it if you can come and check it out, you know, what I'm talking about. And we're going to have a session at 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Can you come? Okay. So if you think about, you know, these two invitations, right? I mean, they're short, right? But the first one kind of focuses on what's happening, you know, what's going to happen at this info session. And I mean, even reading it, like I wasn't like at all excited about it. It's like, okay, that's gonna happen. That's great. But you know, the second one, you know, thinking about, you know, it explains more the motivation. Why is this something that's important to me? Why is this something that I'm excited about? Why is it something that could be, you know, something exciting for you as a member of this community, of my community? So when we're making invitations, when we're making requests, we want to start with why. We want to first share about why is this something that's important to me personally? You know, what, you know, it's not about convincing somebody else that this is important to you, that this is an important thing, or that they should go to something. It's just sharing why something's important to you. You know, to just be real about that, to be honest about that. And you know, if they can feel some resonance with that, if they can feel some common base with what you're sharing about, then they'll naturally want to be a part of that. And if they don't, then that's not anything, that's not on you, it's not at your fault. It's just that, you know, there was just no, it wasn't what resonated with them. They might have something else that's important to them in their life. So this is something to think about when we're making our, when we're sending a message to somebody or we're talking to someone personally. So the next question might be, oh, Elena, did you have a?
Yes. If you don't mind, I have to say, for me personally, the first one calling, because it's more precise and it's telling me what I can achieve through this, which second one, honestly, I would just look through and just, you know,
right, yeah,
ignore. So
right.
if you're okay, I'm curious what other people think.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is probably a combination of both would be better.
That is my assumption as well.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, you want to share why, but yeah, I mean, having like what is it going to look like and the details and what you can get through it, you know, that's definitely, you know, something valuable. Yeah, I guess my point is not that the first one that you don't want to share like that. It's just that you just don't want to forget to also include, why is it important, your motivation to it, if that makes more sense.
Yeah, I have a personal experience with that. I think it's about your emotions in it and excitement. Because I once worked for an organization, like for a music festival, and I had to invite people to the festival, and I wasn't excited at all about it. The organization was crappy, and I didn't want to make people come, but it was my job. And and I did exactly this number one thing, and really out of 100 maybe two came, because I did the job like very dry. So I think it's about if you're excited and you say the information, then probably more people will be attracted to it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. Yeah, like it's got to be authentic, I think. Like you've got to be authentically connected to what you're inviting people to and excited about it. Yeah, I definitely would, yeah, vouch for what you just said. Is it okay if I move on? So the next thing I wanted to talk about, oh, that's cool, is where is my tribe? Because this is another question that might come up, is where are these people that I should make requests of, where I should make invitations of? So we can call this a community, we can call it your network, we can call it your tribe, whatever you want to call it. I like the word tribe, which actually is not just used in our church, by the way. It's actually starting to gain a lot of traction in like the secular world as well, which is kind of cool. But this idea of finding out where's my tribe. Actually, this is an exercise that I did when I was part of a seminar where I created the whole point of the seminar was to learn how to create a project, and I created a music fundraiser. It was a musical concert that raised money for victims of human trafficking, and it was my first time organizing some kind of big event where I was inviting people from not just church members, but inviting working with NGOs and other outside organizations and things like that. And there was this question of how do I get, who do I contact, and how, like, just to me, like, my community was like my church community. Like, that's all I knew. It's like, this is my community. But actually what they taught me was really interesting, is that the way that you can find your tribe is to look at what tribe do you already belong to. And if we think about it, actually a tribe could be just something that you have a common base with other people, right? Like our faith community, we have a common base of our faith. That's what brings us together as a community, you could say. Maybe our value systems, what we consider as important. But if you think, at work, you have a community, your coworkers, they have something that is in common. You work for the same company. So the way that we can find your tribe is by simply looking at, actually, who am I? How do I describe myself? Who do I see myself as? So this is where we're going to create kind of like a tribe map. Okay, it could be a community map or a network map. But think about, so I want you guys to, on a piece of paper, just like this, draw a picture of, I don't know, it could just be a circle where you write like me on it or something. Right, so you just want to write, draw a circle and say me, or if you want to draw a picture of your face, that's okay too. Anyway, you're in the center. Okay, that's the point. Okay, and then the next thing I want you to do is just to start thinking about, okay, so, well, who am I? And you can start very simply, right? It could be something like your nationality. I'm an American, right? That's one thing. So in my circle, I might, in my map, I would put a little bit, leave some space, right? So you would write like American, or you write your country, or whatever characteristic comes to mind. Another one, I'm a leader. I consider myself kind of like a leader type of person, like a leadership type, right? So That's something for me. I'm a man. Okay, that's who I am. That's part of who I am. I'm an Okamoto. That's my family. I'm a peace lover. I'm a person of faith. I'm a unificationist. I'm a missionary. I consider myself a missionary to this country. I'm a recovering addict, actually. I'm a foreigner in Japan. I'm a husband. I'm a business owner. I'm an English speaker. I'm a coach. So these are all parts of me, right? So this is the first step, is I want you to just make kind of a map of what you consider the parts of you, of who you are, okay? So try to come up with, I don't know, 5 to 10, something like that. And you can kind of like, if it helps to kind of group them by category, as you can see here, kind of like I put unificationist and personal faith and missionary, they're kind of close together. Yeah, I should have put English speaker on the other side, but anyway. So anyway, take a little time to just think about that for a bit and kind of write that out. And think about your work. You know, if you're an English teacher, you know, you can write that. If you know, think about things that you love. You know, I'm an appreciator of I don't know, sushi, whatever, whatever you can think of. I'm a student, right? I'm learning Japanese. That could be something. You know, think about like character traits. You know, I'm an optimist. I'm a realist. Whatever comes to mind. You can get creative with this. So just take 30 more seconds, and we're just going to move on to the next step. If you're a graduate of some school, some program, think about that. Graduate of, I don't know, STF, MFT, something like that. You know, think about your history, what you've been a part of in the past. Okay. So, if you could just hold up your map, I can just see progress you guys have made. Show your. Oh, all right, awesome, very cool. Looks great. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is so one way to think about it is this is your tribe. These are your tribes that you're actually already a part of. You share something with the people who share these characteristics with you. So think about American. So who are 3 other Americans that I know? I'll just write that down. You know, who are 3 other, you know, husbands that I know? Okay, I'll write 3 people's names down. People of faith. I might write 3 people's names down for that. Graduate of Global Top Gun Youth, this workshop. I'll write down 3 names that come to mind. So you want to do that's what basically we want to do is is just to start brainstorming who is already here in this tribe. Someone who's already like a Russian speaker. Who are the other Russian speakers that I know? This is my tribe. Who are the other English speakers that I know? So that's the first step. So let's take some time to just jot down some names in each of these, or if you have many, just choose some that you feel most connected to. Okay. just take another 40 seconds and then we'll move on. Surprise myself. Okay. All right. So yeah, why don't we just hold up our map? Sorry, you guys can't really see. But show your progress. Let's see. Okay, awesome. Looks good. So the next thing, this is a quick step, or at least it can be a quick step, is to think about actually who are the leaders of these tribes. Okay, so think about like the way that they witnessed in Africa to many people. How did they get some people to the blessing? They actually just witnessed to the tribal leaders, the chiefs of the clans, and just by giving the blessing, sharing the blessing with that one person, that allows them to share the blessing with their entire clan. Sharing the blessing with one pastor is makes it possible to share the entire thing with the entire congregation. So leaders are incredibly important and powerful people and very useful to work with. And if you can empower and if you can give something to a leader, the great thing is that you're not just impacting that one leader, that one person, but you're impacting every single person that leader serves. So it's really important to think about how can we empower leadership? How can we serve leadership? So think about a few of these tribes and just ask the question to yourself, who is a leader? It doesn't have to be like they have a position. I'm not talking about like someone who has like a position or like a church leader necessarily. Just like, who do people look up to? Who do people go to for advice? Who do people see as like their elder brother, elder sister, their mother figure, their father figure, their teacher, their mentor? Who in this group of people? I think about like IFA. That's a community that I'm a part of. Well, I would say Nancy, right? She's already here, so I can't invite her, but she's like somebody who takes care of a lot of people and who is a leader who a lot of people look up to. If I think about, or Ida-san, he might be a leader I might think of. I mean, all of you who are here, you guys are leaders in some area of life. If it's your Russian community, if it's in your family, there's leadership can have many forms. So anyway, just once again, think about in each of these tribes, or in a select few of these tribes, who are some leaders. If they're already somebody who's like on your list already, then just circle that person's name. Okay, so you just want to circle it. So just keep that in mind. Oh, this person's a leader. That might impact the way that you might want to invite that person, or you might want to invite them. If we're talking about the info sessions, right? You might want to invite them to that leadership info session. Okay, so anyway, just take a couple minutes just to reflect on that and to circle any names or write any names that come to mind. Does anybody need more time? Yes. Okay. Okay. So, was everybody able to kind of figure out at least one leader in one of your tribes, one of your communities? You can think of one?
Not for every tribe.
Not for every tribe. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, just one in your paper, in your entire paper. Did you find one? Okay, at least one. Okay, good. Yeah, it doesn't have to be for every tribe. If you can't figure it out for that tribe, it might be because you're the leader. That's what I thought. But anyway, yeah. So just as long as you have a few in mind, these are just people to keep in mind. Because one thing with leaders is not just inviting a leader, but it could just be asking a leader, do you know anybody? Do you want to know anybody who might be interested in this kind of, in this possibility, in what we're doing here? This is the result that I got. This is what I got, and this is, the change that I saw in my life. Do you know anybody else who might be interested in this kind of change? So it doesn't even have to be like a direct invitation to that leader. It could just be working through that leaders network to find more people. That can be a very powerful thing. So now we all should have like a list. I must have like a good 20 people on this already. That I just thought up of in this past 10 minutes of people, and I think every single one of these people I could see either me asking them to inviting these people, or I could ask them if they know anybody who might be interested, at least one of those two. So again, this is something that you could do. I mean, you could use these tribes, this piece of paper that you created, you can use this for anything in your life. If you want to go start witnessing, start a business, you want to start, getting clients, you can use this kind of practice. So just a couple points is, sorry, one point I want to say about making a request, because we kind of talked a lot about, this info session request, but any other requests, one thing important to know is requests, the more specific you can make the request, the more easier it is to say yes, okay? So if, for example, you're talking to a leader and you say, do you know anybody who's, who might be interested in this? That's I mean, that's okay, but maybe to make it even more easier to say yes, or just more clear, you could say, could you give me 3 to 5 people who you think this would help most, or this would most support this kind of program? Making it specific so they can just think 3 to 5 people. Okay, here you go. Would you be able to let me know, by tomorrow if this is if you come up with anybody? Putting some kind of timeline, some kind of deadline. It's not to trap them, it's to make it really clear for them that this is how you can fulfill my requests. Because sometimes we make requests that are very difficult to fulfill because they're not clear enough, right? We might say to somebody, could you be a little bit more nicer to me? Could you say that a little bit more nicely? Like, well, what do you mean by nice? My nice might be different from your nice. I might say, could you say it with a little bit of a softer tone? And, could you say please at the end of that? And maybe could you compliment me at the end of asking me to do something? Making it really clear, like, this is exactly what I want you to do. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah, well, I guess I could do that, So that's one very, I think, important tip about making requests. The last one is just taking action, is just don't take too long to make that request, because one thing about possibility is that possibility is like, I don't know, it's like yogurt, okay? If you leave it out of the fridge, it's gonna eventually rot and go bad. So possibility has a lifespan. When you create a possibility, when you create something that's inspiring to you, and say, oh, this is gonna be so great, by the next day, that possibility might not be inside your mind, might not be inside your heart. So take action while the possibility is still present with you. And if it's not present with you, then the first thing I would do is reflect on what is the possibility first before you start taking action and feeling like, oh, I got to push myself and, you know, it feels so scary. You know, actually just sit and take a breath and say, why is this important? What am I really giving to people? What is this opportunity going to do for people? And then once that possibility is right there, I'm excited and I'm ready to go, and then go ahead, take action. You know, don't say, oh, okay, I'll invite all these people tomorrow. So even right now, you know, if you have, you know, I mean, you have the opportunity right now, you know, just take 10 minutes, you know, choose 4 of these people on your list. You know, I mean, you can, I mean, some of you I know, actually, I'm going to sit down and before I do anything else, I'm going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to send out, you know, some line messages, some Facebook messages, letting people know that this is what I'm doing. I think it's going to be helpful for them, and share my possibility, share what's happening. So yeah, I can't encourage this enough. Just take action while the possibility is still alive inside of you. That's all I've got to share. How many of you felt this was valuable? If you felt this was like valuable for you, felt like you got something out of this, please raise your hand. Okay, awesome. Very cool.